Good morning, everyone. My name's Doc, and welcome back to the channel. It's been quite some time since I've done any content for YouTube. I've actually been taking my content or my videos straight to Twitter in a more condensed manner because there's only been sort of a handful of altcoins in play at any given moment for the past few months, and I haven't felt the need to do kind of a 20-30 coin watch list. But with the nuke that we got this week, or last week, you know, a lot of charts have bled out and stuff, but we've gotten a different landscape than we had before, and I think it's a good time to go over a lot of the coins that you guys want covered, because they'll look a lot different than they did 3 months ago, right? So it's a good time to refresh everything. If this is your first time watching a watch list video, don't be alarmed by the length. This video is going to go quite some time. It's just going to be me talking charts for some time, but I know a lot of you don't have 90 minutes to dedicate to a video, so I have everything time stamped below. It's also a good idea to maybe put my voice in like 1.5% or 1.5x speed, if you can handle the speed of that, whatever. It'll make the video a little bit more palatable, and a little bit more worth your time, maybe. But anyways, yeah, everything will be timestamped. And the last thing before we get started is, if you guys are not familiar with the clinic, that's my Discord. That's where you can reach me most of the time. We have a pretty fucking amazing community in there. So if you're not in there, come join. It's completely open and free to everyone. The link will be in the description box below. And secondly, a lot of my system is based around EMAs and moving indicators. You'll see me use them a lot in this video. If you guys are curious and you want mine specifically, there's a trend indicator channel in the Discord that tells you how you can get these completely for free if you want them. All right, with all that out of the way, let's get the video started. What I like to do at the very beginning is always talk about the majors being Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then we go from there and we talk about all the altcoins. So let's start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, first and foremost, has broken the trend that has carried us all year. Now, when we lost it in March, it was with a fear-based event that brought us to a perfect kind of retest level of a level that was defining Bitcoin for quite some time. It was like this 19-20K level. It was really strong in the volume profile, right? And we lost it with the USDC depeg, and then we reclaimed it with USDC's doing redemptions or whatever. Everything's fine, right? So that was this kind of loss, very quick one weekend. I think it was like a Saturday or Sunday. Here we basically hugged these 100, 200 EMAs for a very long time. We dropped back into daily demand and we launched back up. This time we've cleanly broken underneath it. We're consolidating underneath it. I don't think Bitcoin has any chance of I'm going to call it a low chance. I should never say never. I think it's probably maybe like a 5% chance that we could do something like this and start moving again. Therefore, the way I'm mentally crafting this video and all the altcoins that follow is going to be, at very best, Bitcoin is going to get a squeeze into a lower high. It's going to reject this point of breakdown. It's probably going to come down. If we cannot hold this level, we're going to have to retreat. Likely 19, 20, 21, anything in this area is possible. That is going to be where I look to reaccumulate Bitcoin spot. And I'm thinking something like this happens, and then there you go. There's your bull market next year. That's kind of what my mental framework is. So we'll keep that in mind when I talk about all these other altcoins, because I am expecting maybe some short-term, medium-term bullishness, overall probably bearishness, an accumulation range, and then a bull market later this year, maybe next year, maybe something like that, right? That's kind of what my base case is. So if we go to Ethereum, it's going to be more of the same. This I actually have drawn out a little bit better. So if you'd like to pause the video here and take a look at how I'm seeing Ethereum, it's pretty simple. Back when we're up here, I was thinking, look, Ethereum has sat on these 100, 200 EMAs for 6 months. It's done nothing. It's given us no extension. It's actually deviated a very significant level, dropped back inside. So naturally, we're going to have to, at some point, retreat and pick up the bulls, right? The bulls don't want to carry along with us, so we're going to have to come back and grab them. Where to? I think, sitting on top of this demand zone carried us for giga rallies every time we got in here. big rally. We got in here, big rally, right? So I think we retreat somewhere in this area and possibly to fill in this low volume node. We've put in a lot of volume in the 1600s. We put in a lot of volume in the 1800s, a lot in the 13s and 12s. I think the only part that's missing is like the 13 and 14s, right? So I think Ethereum comes in here, probably fills this out, and then we're good to go. So that's my whole overall high time frame thoughts. And we're going to use that as our kind of base case for all these other coins. Now, first coin on the list, AKT. I think it's Akash Network. This was on the watch list all the way back in January or February. I don't know which month, but January, February. We have a guy in the Discord named Robson who was asking me about AKT. And at the time, I told him that it looked range-bound and buy as close to range lows as possible. I believe that's my advice. I believe that's what I said. I think it was during this rally. I want to say it was something in this rally. I don't know how I had my range high marked, but I was pretty much saying, look, this is your accumulation. We want to buy as close to this as possible. So if you bought down here, GG's to you. I did not. I actually bought the breakout because that's a secondary way you can buy something. When the EMAs has compressed, you trade above them, you flip above them, and you start breaking out on range highs and using this as your support level, then your invalidation becomes really easy. Okay, I've bought here. If we start trading back below the range, we start trading back below the EMAs, I'm going to cut the position, right? That's your invalidation. Your high side target's going to be very audacious. They're going to be that I want the breakout, right? So I was fortunate enough to catch this myself. I've sold AKT, and what I think are two things that could happen. Now, in a doomsday scenario and there's no demand and things continue nuking, of course it can come all the way back down here. I don't think that's what happened here, though. I think with this much of a move, a 2x, 3x move, where it's been sitting up here for a little bit of time, I think a new range is going to form. I think that's going to be like 170s is going to be your range high, 130 is going to be your range low, something along these lines. And what'll happen is these daily 100, 200s are going to catch up, right? The H4 100, 200s are going to catch up. They're actually already catching up, right? So we go to a little bit of a lower time frame. Let's go to the daily. This is pretty much what it's going to be, right? If you want a position, you buy into this, right? This is your support, right? 115, that's your support. Now you have the confluence of the 100, 200 on the H4 catching up, right? You're looking to buy into this level, you're looking to hold this level, and you're looking to trade it back into these highs. If at any time you start losing these EMAs, you start losing support, you can expect a gap fill. You know, the gap fill being the H4 100, 200 are your first support bands, the daily 100, 200 are your second support bands. What will naturally happen if you lose these, right? Trade here, lose these ones are probably going to be the next ones that catch you. So look out for that. If they don't catch you, you're going to come all the way back down to 60. But this is a pretty nice repricing rally. I would look to play up here as close to this support as possible. Trade it to the top. If it deviates to the top and comes back inside, you can cut the position. You can look to buy it lower again. Very simple. Use the EMAs. Use support. Use the support. Yep. Very simple. What I just described there is going to basically be the foundation for this entire video. That's how I see markets. I see them first. Are you strong? Are you breaking out of a range? Are you above your H4 100, 200? Are you above your daily 100, 200? And then we can come to lower time frames. And you're going to see I'm not going to focus on lower time frames in this video because that's not going to help it age. The point of YouTube videos is to give you guys a broad framework to use for over the next week, or at least until I record the next video. It's not to give you a trade setup for today or tomorrow, right? Because crypto moves so fast. Even if I give you a trade setup and I don't record and I don't upload this video till Monday, it might already be gone by Monday. So what the hell's the point, right? Okay. Arbitrum. Me personally, I'm looking to play Arbitrum off this range low, right? This to me is probably going to end up being accumulation, something like this, right? I'm looking to play Arbitrum off the range low, right? We're below all the high time frame moving indicators. We're not in a trending environment. We're in a range bound environment. So I'm going to treat it like a range. In this range, I'm looking for something very, very simple. Deviate the lows, right? Deviate the lows, get back inside, break structure. Here's your high. This is hypothetical. You know, here's your high. Here's your deviation. Get back inside. You make a higher high. Wrong thing. You make a higher high. Basically, it's going to look like this, right? Here's your high. We got above it. You're looking to make a higher low. Here's your low, higher low, right? And that's your long trigger. Look to take it towards the highs. You may get rejected along the way by the downtrending H4 100, 200s. That could be your TP1, bring it back down, defend the lows again, look to trade it back up. That's how I'm going to be playing Arbitrum. I think this low at 90 cents gets defended. We're at 93, 94 right now. I'm really looking forward to this kind of deviation play. That's kind of what I'm manifesting. One tap, two tap, third tap down here. Get back inside, break structure, look to trade it for the highs. The way I see Arbitrum playing out, at least for now, I don't know how long this will last. I don't know if it's going to get a rally in of its own, right? But I'm looking at it as a range. Maybe something picks up and it breaks out of the range eventually. We don't know. But for now, that's how I see Arbitrum. AVAX. Let's take a look. This is not a chart I've seen in maybe 6 months, so I don't know where to start with this one. Let's take these off. I'm going to put it in log because it makes it easier to see. All right. Obviously, these are the most significant lows. So we're running up on those right now. That's 932. So what I want to say about AVAX here is this is kind of your range for now, right? $20 is your high, 930 is your low, right? We'll probably see 930. Now, whether or not AVAX has the ability to bounce from 930, maybe gets rejected by these again, comes back down. We're going to have to see, right? What I think would be an excellent way to buy AVAX is not to knife catch this, not to worry about this bounce, not to do any of this. But if you want to accumulate AVAX, the way that you're going to do it, is allow AVAX to deviate these lows, get back inside, right? Flip these downtrending daily 100, 200s, however they may look, and then take the target to $20. Maybe it pulls back, something like that. That's your bull market. I don't know how high AVAX is going to go, but structurally speaking, this is how I see it. I think the best way to play AVAX is to let it lose 930. If you really want to, you're so fundamentally convinced that AVAX is a good buy it down here. Buy it on a 50% nuke. Buy it on 30, 40% down. This is one of the weakest coins in the market. We've had a lot of strong coins in 2022. AVAX is not one of them. The only rally that AVAX has really seen was off the yearly open, where every single coin in the market ripped. And I think later in the year, I don't even know where it was, but AVAX had a second move where they had a partnership with Amazon, Walmart, one of the big companies, right? They had a partnership, right? That was the second leg. Other than that, it's bled the entire year, right? So I don't want to own an asset that goes down only. I want to own an asset that's strong. AVAX is not one of them. That's how I would personally play it. Like I said, I'm not going to give you a low time frame trade. What's the point? Why would you even be taking low time frame trades on something that's going like this? So we're moving on. Okay, this is Bitcoin. This is not the Bitcoin that you think of. This is Harry Potter, Obama Sonic 10 Inu. This is a shitcoin. This is a meme coin. This is a coin that had an amazing rally for multiple months, put in a double top, had an unsustainable kind of, this is your parabolic run. You really need to see the parabola continue. The parabola was unable to continue. That was my signal to get out. That was a lot of people's signal to get out. It needs to retreat and find support. The two ways that this could go, right, is you get back above this top green one, about $11, right? Another thing I can pull up is how cleanly it responded to the H4 100 200, right? We lost that as well. Today's daily close is going to be below it, right? All bearishness, all crap, right? Two ways that I would do this. If this tomorrow, day after, whatever, wants to reclaim up here, I would say, okay, let's go. I'm going to buy this, right? And I'm going to look for a dead cat bounce. And that dead cat bounce is going to be to about 1450. It's this level right here. I have it marked out already. Yeah, you can see the squiggles are already here. I didn't need to do them again. This is how I want to see it. I want to see you reclaim $10, $11, get back in this level. I'm willing to buy it. My invalidation is going to be if we get back inside here, if we start closing again below here, I'm out once again. Look to trade it to the top of the range, about $13. And from there, I would expect an extension probably back to about 15. So this, for me, like I don't need to buy the bottom. For me, I'm gonna buy here. That's about a 50% rally. I'm comfortable with that. If not, right, that's the extreme bullish case. The bearish case is what I think is about to happen. I don't think the bullish case is about to happen. I think the bearish case is about to happen. It's going to retreat, I don't know how low, and form an accumulation range. Now, the accumulation range could be here. It could be between 8 and 10. It could do like this, right? It could be lower. This could roll over another level, and this could be your, I don't know. I cannot predict. I cannot tell you where I think it's going to happen. I don't know how badly it's going to sell off. I don't know if the people who own a big amount of supply are going to say, screw this coin, I'm done with it, I'm going to move on to the next meme, or they're just going to hold it for another 6-8 months until the next bull market, right? So we cannot predict these things. We have no idea. It's better not to knife catch them. It's better not to DCA on the way down. None of those things matter in a meme coin world. What matters is that an accumulation range forms and you're able to buy the lows of that accumulation range, right? You buy these lows. And like I told you on AKT, the signs to look out for, AKT's marked if you're skipping ahead, go back and watch that. What I look for in accumulation and how to break it out, right? Flip all your high time frame moving indicators, right? This is this one forming right now, daily 100, daily 200, it'll eventually form. H4 100, 200, it'll eventually form. What you'll see is an accumulation that range that, or, excuse me, an accumulation range that looks like this. The indicators will come down, price will start trading above it, we'll get above the highs, and you'll break out, right? I'm looking to trade this and buy this. I'm not looking to do anything with a meme coin right now. That's not my focus. Like I said, what I would really like is if you reclaim this, I'm going to play the dead cat, because that's going to be a huge, huge rally, 50% rally. Otherwise, why do I care about 10, 20% moves, especially when it's so capital intensive? This is not a futures market. This is a spot only market. This is not something that I want to, attribute a lot of capital to, especially with on-chain not having stop losses and such. I'm not interested. Okay. CFX, this was requested and I put it on the list just to be respectful, but this is not a coin that I think should be on anyone's watch list. I think it was just a narrative-based coin for this year. It's probably going to retreat even further, right? It's, to be honest, why would it stop here at 11 cents? Take a look at the MATIC chart and see the MATIC had the best fundamentals or something, one of the best coins, right? Top 10 coin. It even retreated to this demand block before its parabola. On MATIC, this is 30 cents. On CFX, it's between 4 and 8. So if I had to bet, if someone put a gun to my head and they said, pick if it's going to go lower or stop here, I'm going to 100 out of 100 times say that it's coming down into this accumulation range. So that's my only take for CFX. It should not be on, look at how it's even rejecting these levels, right? It got underneath this. If you're thinking it's a deviation, the market's telling you, no, sir, it's not a deviation. We tried to get above it. We got rejected. We got slammed down, right? So nothing but void to fill. Here's your volume profile. This is your high volume node. 7-8 cents. That's where this is coming to. If you're really looking to trade it on lower time frames, my advice is going to be to you once again, why trade the coins that are out of favor? Why trade the coins that are not in a narrative? Trade the coins that are strong. Trade the coins that are moving up. Trade the easy coins. Don't trade these, because you know what's going to happen? Market may go up. Bitcoin goes up this much. A coin that's in play. What's a coin that's in play right now? OP was strong this week, so let's use OP as an example. Bitcoin goes up this much. OP goes up this much. CFX goes up this much. You're losing to Bitcoin, right? Maybe you do the same as Bitcoin, but at the same time, who cares? Why take the risk on CFX when you could just take the same trade on Bitcoin, right? So screw this coin. Just covering it out of respect to the person who requested it. Coinbase. So I've had a really good time trading Coinbase this year. The red circles have been my, execution areas. I bought those lows. I basically bought when the SEC sued Coinbase. Yeah, the day the SEC sued Coinbase. I sold the day the SEC lost their case against XRP. And my goal always was to buy this green demand block, right? I thought about this one. This was the first thing I thought about, was this demand block right around mid-range. And I said, after this much of a parabolic rally, it's not going to be enough. You're going to need to retreat a little bit more. Especially because we've never done anything at this level. It's only been resistance, deviation, resistance, resistance. One demand block is not enough to hold the weight of this much of a rally. You're going to need to retreat a lot further. So this is where this is where I mentally set, or whatever, actually put my money where my mouth is. This is where I bought. So I rebought at 73, 75, and a tad at 76. Tad at 76, but my main buys were 75 and 73. I bought back everything that I sold up here. I sold 111, sold 107, and I'm looking, you know, one of two things can happen. Either this leads us back to range highs and takes out this wick and takes out this wick, right? That's the dream scenario. I'd love that. I'd love that, obviously. What's more realistic, and I hate to say it, is probably a dead cat bounce. I don't think this is going to go as high. And what I think is this might have to come all the way back down. This is what I'm actually envisioning probably happens for Coinbase, is that we put in a dead cat. It may not even be this strong. I don't know how high this is going to go. One thing that I'm open to thinking about is that since this mid-range, right, was such strong resistance, let me put it on a different chart. Let's put it on the weekly. Since like 88 was such a strong level for resistance, and it was a deviation one time, and that deviation took us all the way to the range highs, right? And there's a deviation this time and took us all the way to the range highs. It's possible that on this dead cat, we simply just get to like 88, right? We get to 88, we're unable to reclaim that level, and we're probably going to have to come all the way back down to 55. That's what really I think is about to happen, is a Coinbase dead cat, and that dead cat leads us back down here. Now, let's say the dead cat doesn't happen. Let's say I'm wrong. Let's say this is not support and we just cut right through it. What am I going to do? I am going to cut my buys. I'm going to take my losses. I'm going to cut the buys at 76, 73, and 75. I'm going to say, whatever, sayonara, I'm going to take an L, right? If it starts trading into here, right? If it starts trading with 67, that'll be quite a loss. That'll be like 10% move from my buys or more. And I'm going to allow one of two things to happen. Either Coinbase retreats down here and I blindly buy it and I'm willing to accept the drawdown below this, or I'm going to let it do whatever it fucking wants to do. It gets back above this green box, right? And then I'm going to buy it here. I'm going to buy it here, and I'm going to buy probably calls this time too. That's my plans on Coinbase. That's really how I see Coinbase. I don't think there's anything more or less to speak about on this. It's very nice right now that Coinbase is flipping the daily 100-200, something it has not ever been able to do, right? Since the inception of this kind of EMA, since it's had enough data to form, we've been trading underneath it. This is the first time we have the responsibility to try to hold it as support. We're trying our best to do so. We're going to have to continue to do so if this wants to continue ranging. What that means is these have to move up, price has to move up, it needs to hold it as support. Price needs to move up, it has to hold it as support, right? Like this kind of price action is what you're going to want to see to be happy that it's going to keep continuing and not deviate, right? This would be what I would do. Like it was doing this, it loses these EMAs, I'm out. Because what's going to happen is it may come here, it may bounce, it'll underside, reject the EMAs, it'll come down lower, right? Hope that makes sense. FET. I'm going to try going a little bit quicker. I've been pretty detailed on these first few coins. I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker on especially the coins that I don't think have too much going for them for the sake of the length of this video. Okay, so FET was a coin that was really strong in play, had a really strong breakout, AI narrative with NVIDIA, everything was AI. It's not very strong at the moment. It's been bleeding out ever since then. Locally speaking, I do see like a weekly SFP. This looks pretty strong, right? That's a weekly SFP. This is a very significant low. We SFP'd that low. If you got in on FET last week, you're printing, you're doing well. The thing I'm going to have to caution you about is this, the daily 100-200, right? That's what I have to caution you about. That's right up ahead, and that's confluent with a prior high. So we had a prior high here. We have the daily 100-200. We have the high volume node, right? So all of these things are very strong resistance, and that may prove to be resistance once again. You may retreat back to range lows. So that's something to be wary of. If this is strong and this continues to break above this and hold above this, and you're holding above the HVN, and you're holding above the daily 100-200, I think higher prices are coming. Probably take it step by step. Let me zoom in a little bit. Step by step. First point right here, 26 cents. Second point would be the high, this wick, 29 cents. Third would be 30 cents, right? So once again, right, you have some highs right here. This is how I would define range high, by the way. This is my range high, right? All of these things are confluent. the high volume node, the daily 100, 200, these local tops. If you get above all of these things, right, you put in some strength above all of these things, then you can think about higher prices. For now, I would just treat this as a range. Hope that makes sense. Phil, another one of the coins that I'm just doing out of respect because I don't think this, yeah, I mean, look, okay. We know a lot of coins look like that. We won't harp on this one. But the fact that it's like AVAX, trading at its all-time lows pretty much, and it's just kind of bleeding downwards, like, why the hell is this not going to come back to $2.40? Like I said, gun to my head, I would say this coin is going to come back to $2.40. I would not buy this in this area. Honestly, I wouldn't even buy $2.40. What I would do, once again, I would wait for this to move down. I said this is my range. Boom, right? That's my range. Get above $4. Get above this high volume node. Put in a breaker. Show me something like this. I'm going to start trading it for higher. That's the way I would trade Phil. I'm not interested. If you really want to buy spot, try to defend $2.40 down here. But what's even stronger is deviate this, get back inside, get back above the daily 100, 200. That's where you want to be a buyer of Phil. FXS. I think I was looking at this for a trade last week, right? And I decided against it because my exact words to Jingo was, hey, this looks pretty good, but I'm going to want to see more clearance. And that clearance is basically, you know, this is a breaker, right? This is a high into a low that took liquidity, and we come back up above it. What we need on that breaker setup, right? Let's draw it like this, come down. When we're back up here, we need clearance so that we're able to hold this as support to launch for the next level. We didn't get that clearance, so there was no setup for me. That's a little just sidebar right there. I know that has nothing to do with high time frame FXS, right? So this is really range bound. It continues to get hammered by the daily 100. It continues to get hammered by this range high. I don't want to say that it has to come down to $4 because the reason being is this has showed more resilience than other coins as far as downside goes, right? It's one of those kind of like Ocean. Ocean's done better, I think. You know, Ocean was a really, really hot coin earlier this year, and I think it's held some of its gains better than other coins. This is also one of them that's held a little bit better, right? I'm not saying it's held great. It deviated back in and everything. But we have price action history at these range lows, and we have a consolidation right here. So the only ways that I want to play where I would say FXS is a in-play coin, a coin that I want to trade, a coin that I'm looking for trading, a coin that's on the top of my playlist, a coin that I think is really easy to print gains on, is once again if it gets above this. That's where I want to play it. I don't want to play it down here. I don't want to play this chop for 1, 2, 3% moves because you know why? Every time FXS, oh, let me wait for this to load. Every time FXS is doing one of these legs, right? One of these, other coins are moving better and they're moving cleaner. Like, I don't want to know that every time I trade FXS with all this effort, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7 daily candles up, it's just going to, you know, single candle nuke on me every time. It has shown resilience. I have to give it that. It's just consolidating. I don't know what to say about this other than it's just consolidating. Let's talk about spot buying. If I'm a spot buyer of this, it's the same thing. I want to buy higher or lower. If you're so fundamentally convinced, yeah, buy it as low as possible. Buy it at range low. Buy it on the nukes, right? But for me, since I don't know anything about FXS, I want to buy it in bullish market structure. I want to buy it up here. I want to buy it above the daily 100, 200. That's what I want to do. I hope that makes sense. As far as everything else goes on FXX, it really is just one long accumulation range, isn't it? This is really just one super long accumulation range. This was an extreme deviation and distribution of FXS. It could do something like this, right? And when it's ready to go, it'll go. But, you know, I think be patient. I think be patient on FXX. GNS. I don't know what this coin is, but it looks terrible. I hope I have the right one. GNS. Let me make sure I have the right one. Let's see if there's any other ones. looks the same. So they're the same. Okay. Yeah, man. Okay. Very simple, right? If we're assuming a range is forming, right? There's your low, there's your high, here's your low. Defend range low, right? If range low is lost, cut the position. Don't be a hero. Don't try to hold this and say I'm getting a better entry. Cut the position, take your little bit of a loss, wait for it to reclaim, buy it back. You'll say, "Oh, why didn't I just hold?" You're doing that so the coin doesn't do this. This can happen at any goddamn given time, right? If other people are not buying the coin at range low, why should you? Assume that there's always a smarter person in the market. Assume there's always a richer person in the market that can defend price more, manipulate price more, move price more. I don't want to blindly buy these range. I don't want to blindly hold if a range low is broken. If a range low is broken, I'm assuming that it's going to continue for a little bit, and I'm cutting. I'm waiting for it to reclaim. I'm getting back in. That's all there is to say about GNUS or whatever, GNS. And then same principle. Once the daily 100, 200 are flipped, once these are flipped, that's going to give you the ability to look for breakouts. INJ. INJ has been in play all year. It's looked phenomenal all year. What the real test for me was this past week. This past week was really kind of the do or die moment on INJ. I don't even know if I'm saying INJ. I think I said INS. INJ, injective. What I really think about this one is that we had the potential this past week to really, squeeze back up to range highs. And I say that because this candle last week when we nuked, we brought it right back up. We held the daily 100. We held market structure. We got right back into that range that we were trading in, right? We were trading in this range. This candle brought us right back in there. But what happened? Loss of momentum, got sold into, is bleeding back down. On the weekly, to me, what this looks like is this is probably going to bleed over the next 6 months, over the next 4 months, whatever. I don't know how long it's going to take. It probably has to bleed back down to range lows once again. The counterpoint is if you don't want to think that long and you're not looking that long, we can just continue to play this on low time frame. This is something I was looking at myself, is just simply taking a deviation play off these range lows. Now, this is classic. This is a classic pattern right here where you see a failed Dalai Lama. This will roll over. You're going to take these lows, right? Get back inside. Long trigger. This is your invalidation. You're looking to take it back to about mid-range, right? Mid-range, maybe the high volume node, right around this point of breakdown. But really, it's going to be this wick, right? Now, let me zoom in a little bit more. It's really going to be this wick right here. That's around 737, right? So if we get this, what I'm looking at, failed dolly, boom, all the way into the lows, take the equal lows, pop back inside. Really, your only target is going to be this wick at 737. More than that, I think that's the place to sell. I would be, myself, shocked if we got back above. If we got back above, yeah, start aiming for the highs. But this, to me, is a downtrend. It really is. Like here's your high, there's your low, here's your lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? It looks like it's doing this. It looks like it's doing that. That's what I think. How would you, if this is your lower high into the lower low, basically getting back above this level right here, that 737 level, trading back above that, really proving some strength on that rally. That's when I say, okay, I'm wrong. Maybe it takes more time to bleed out. And basically you're getting back above the daily 100 too, because right now you're kind of accepting below it. This is kind of like a fake out. I thought we got back above it. I thought we're going to continue. We didn't do that. We're really just bleeding back down, which makes me think that this move was really the fake out. This was the fake out, and it's just going to bleed back down. Kaspa. This is my favorite coin in the market. Trades so clean, has good volatility, right? Top 50 coin. What more could you ask for? Look how clean this trades. Look at how it's respecting the range. What it's done now that we need to talk about. It's deviated the range high. It's gotten back inside. It's back test rejected the high. It's probably going to come here, do a little bouncing ball action, a little range bound bouncing ball action. probably get held once by this, right? Something like that, and then bleed down, because we have some inefficiency here to fill. And I think personally, you know, if we do hold this and get back, you know, start trading back above the range highs, or put in some bullish market structure back up here at the highs, yeah, I'll submit, I'll change my tune, and I'll say, okay, look, this was just another reaccumulation, right? And we're ready to go back up. That was enough. You know, we held the daily 100, 200, right? We got back above the H4 100, 200. This is my bullish case, right? We're gonna go back to the bearish case, because the bearish case is actually my base case for a CAS. We do something like this, right? These come down, we get back above them. This is my point of breakdown. This is my bias point. I need to get back above this zone, right? We get here, boom, right? I'm hella long. I'm thinking everything, like, we're probably gonna extend super far. And I'm not gonna say, hey, I'll be sidelined for this whole thing. I'll be looking for longs and shorts this whole way. I'll be trading it both ways. But high time frame, I'm not going to be high time frame bullish until that happens, right? Because to me, this is just a range breakdown. We'll talk about render a little bit later. This is a range breakdown, and it's just going to do kind of the bouncing ball thing. It needs to reaccumulate, and I think that reaccumulation range for me personally is going to be between 22 and 26. I think this is kind of where we'll see some reaccumulation, maybe a dip into here, and then we're ready to go, right? That's what I think my base case is on CASPA. If you don't think that was enough information on my high time frame thesis, wait till I get to render, or skip ahead to render, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Excuse me, let me just take a sip of water. Okay, where were we? Yeah, but if you follow me on Twitter or you see me in the clinic, you'll see I'm trading CASPA every day. So much volatility. What I think the next move is here, before I move on, naturally, I think maybe this puts it in a lower high like this, but this low, right, gets taken into this demand, right? From here, I'll probably be looking to trade it back up. How high? Probably 40, right? I'll be looking to long it back into 40 for another, you know, lower high. This is a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, boom, like this, right? And maybe something like that, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. But I've shorted this entire leg publicly. Go check my Twitter. Every single tweet's there. Every single setup was there. And I'm looking for a sweep of this low into this demand, get back above. I'm looking to take longs, probably back to 40. That's CAS. All right, Kujira, Robson, buy range lows. All right, this is a deviation of the range. This is distribution at the high. This is the daily 100 being lost. You know, like I said on Coinbase, guys, check out what I said on Coinbase, right? It's like the daily 100, 200. This is the first time getting above it. You tag it as support. What did you get? Dead cat, dead cat, dead cat. Nothing, 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 nothing. You're not able to make a new high. You need to use this as support to make a new high. That's really the bullish market structure that you're looking for. What this is doing is just distributing at the highs. Obviously, it's not going to go straight to range lows because it built up so much support here. So the first level to probably defend is going to be like 56, right? 56, maybe even mid-range around 62, something like that. If not, yeah, back to 30s. It doesn't look good because it's just getting sold off every single time it tries to break out of the range. It looked really, really good right here for this leg. It looked really, really good for this leg. It should have continued momentum. It should have gone higher. It did not do that. It distributed instead. This is really heavy looking. Compare this chart to the FXS chart. Kind of the similar thing. Tried to break out, distributed instead, retreated. That's what you're expecting on Kujira, expecting a retreat. Those are the levels mentioned. LDO is finally at one of the levels that I wanted to buy. When it was up here, I was looking for this box. I got front run, didn't buy, right? Got front run, didn't buy. Now we're here. Yeah, now we're here. But the issue is I think market participants are just kind of sick and tired of longing LDO. Like they're just, all they've met with is disappointment and disappointment and disappointment. And it's been the coin all year. I don't know, you know, we probably get another one. We probably get another one, right? Like I said, for Bitcoin, I was thinking that we do get a relief rally. So we probably get another one, maybe back to like 180, right? But eventually, I think we're going to range lows. Like I said, my base case, if you guys, you know, skipped ahead, you didn't watch the Bitcoin Ethereum, go back to Bitcoin Ethereum real quick, watch my base case. It'll make more sense on LDO. Man, this is tough, right? I think what's going to happen for LDO, I think it has to retreat to range lows. I think it has to retreat here, and I think it has to do this, and then we're ready, right? Then we're ready to do something in 2024. This is just a used and abused coin in 2023. This is overly talked about, overly crowded, thesis crowded. It's a tiresome coin, and it's not something that I'm interested in picking up at a premium and defending up here. There are other coins that I'd rather defend higher. Like I said, like Caspa, I would defend higher than range low. This one, range lows over time. But yeah, for now, this is the level. This is the level that I've been looking at forever, right? So this is the level. If you really want LDO exposure, something like this probably happens. You know, defend here. It may get you there. Your invalidation is going to obviously be closes below here. Excuse me. My throat's getting a little tired of talking. I haven't done one of these in a while. LPT. Okay, we're going to stick to lower time frames here. My levels got a little bit messed up, and this looks terrible the way that I have it marked out. I was trading this in a different way today. I was looking at it very bullishly. This does not look bullish the way that I had this before. Okay. You can see that it's a... you know what? I understand why. This is the spot chart. This is the chart that I want to deal with. It's actually different. If you guys pause and rewind, you'll see that the H4 is respected much more on the perp chart. The perp chart has more volume. The perp chart is where everyone's doing business. The spot chart is not what's happening, because this is quote unquote a cartel coin, right? The cartel's controlling the books on this one or whatever. The OI is really high. The funding is really negative. So what I'm really looking for on LPT, hold this level, right? This is the level that we, you know, downtrend, broke above it, held it as support, broke higher. We're retreating back to this demand. I'm bullish LPT as long as it doesn't trade down here. I'm bullish as long as this bullish market structure is maintained, right? Higher highs and higher lows, right? I want to see this structure maintained. And actually, I am long LPT at the time of recording this video. I've gotten some fills. My exact entry is actually right here where it's listed, whatever this is. I think it's 53, 653, right? That's my entry. I actually have bids in this whole box. This whole thing is still my bids unfilled, right? And like I said, if we close an H4 candle, because I'm taking an H4 trade, below this box, that's where I'm cutting the position. Call it a shakeout, call it whatever you want. I don't want that, because now that's broken market structure. Like I said, high, low, high, whatever, low, high, right? This would be a lower low relative to this one. You know, breaking under here would make a lower low. A wick I'm willing to deal with. A close below here is not something I'm willing to deal with. We can see that it's compressing under the H1, right? The H1 trend, and it is using the H4 as support. So it's basically wedged into this in bullish market structure. I am expecting upside resolution. That's why I'm long this coin. I've explained my invalidations. I've explained the triggers and everything like that. I don't think there's anything else to talk about on this coin. Level by level, right? I'm just taking it to liquidity. We'll see what happens after that. Check Clinic or check Discord for more. Magic. Okay, full round trip, right? There's your classic market cycle. The classic market cycle is this: parabola, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Eventually you retreat to the origin, right? So this is exactly what Magic just did. Accumulation range is next. Nothing more to it. Just like everything else, that's your low. This is where it's coming to. Magic's definitely coming to 45. I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm not telling you it's going to go there today. It could do this. It could go back to range highs first. It could do something like that. But eventually, This is the natural draw. It's not, it's selling off for a reason, right? And the final destination is going to be down here. And it may even do this, right? And it may even do that. Now, I don't know what the fundamentals are. I don't know how bullish this coin is. I don't know if it's going to make new all-time highs. I don't know anything about it. All I know is basic market structure. That's what basic market structure is telling me. Like I've said on every other coin in this video, I'm not going to be bullish on this. I'm not going to be looking at it until this happens, right? You flip this, that's when I'm the flipping of the daily 100 200, the flipping of that and the using it as support, that is when an accumulation range turns into a potential range breakout. You cannot have a potential range breakout when you're trading underneath these. More likely you're just going to keep rejecting it, right? And continue the range and continue your accumulation. Breakout above, that's when you get it. MATIC, I'm already going to say it, 30 whatever. Trader XO, you have won. You have won. You've been saying 30 for about a year. You've been shorting this for about a year, and you have won, my friend. You have won. You know, you wouldn't short this level. You wouldn't short 52. You get underneath 52, definitely think that that is a very clean short, right? Right here, maybe puts it another lower high, maybe does this. Who knows what it does? Who knows what it does? Who knows, right? This is definitely a level to defend for bulls. If it does not get defended, like I said in my base case for Bitcoin, right? If this continues to hold, there will be kind of a lower high rally, and then probably a lower low. So final destination 31. I guarantee you, it's not trading above any of these EMAs, right? Look at the most recent rally. The most recent rally was capped by the daily 100 200, right? So even if you get another one here, probably gets capped by the daily 100 200, probably goes lower. Up here, get capped by the daily 100 200, right? Accumulation, just like I said on Magic, right? And then we go off. And if I, you know, go all the way out, right? There's your market cycle. There's your demand that led to the parabola, right? And there's just kind of your bleed out, right? Whether or not this occurs or not for me to say. I'm just going to tell you how the accumulation range work. As far as low time frame trades go, I'm going to say whatever I said on all the other weak coins. Why would you trade the weak one? Unless you're shorting this one, why would you trade the weak one? The way that I would short this one, I wouldn't short it like this. You know how I would short it would be like this. Okay, so continue putting in supply, clean break below it. This daily trend follows, right? Daily trends following, pull back, not a perfect retest of this supply, pull back into the H4, boom, lower, reclaim, cut. This is my short. This is how I would short it. Very simple. It may not happen on the H4. It may happen more aggressively. It may happen with the H1, but that's how I would short MATIC if it's going to break down from this level. I'm not expecting it to break down. I think it'll have like another, you know, dead cat or something first. That's MATIC. Maker, the person who requested Maker was asking for shorts, and yes, sir, this looks juicy. This is my first time looking at Maker. I know you guys in the clinic are always talking about it, and this is the first time I've opened this chart, and now I am interested myself. So how are we going to short Maker, and to where? Sorry for the awkward silence. Okay. Just want my bearings real quick. Let's take a look at these. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look how bullish it was. It was so bullish that it flipped the daily 100 200. Okay. So now careful. Just a little something to be careful about. Yes, we do think it'll go lower. Yes, it probably will go lower, but first, it's probably going to hold here. Right? Here's demand that led to higher highs. This wick was actually even support on the way up. We took that wick. We're consolidating here. The daily 100 200 is below us. The H4 100 200 is above us. Either short a move back into the daily 100 200, excuse me, the H4, right? The H4 is above us. Either short a move back up or a clean break below. And I just explained how I would short a clean break below, like on MATIC, right? So I wouldn't short the lows. I'm going to short a pump on the highs, just like you would long a pullback if you're looking for an uptrend, right? It's the exact opposite sort of mentality, right? So we're looking for a move upwards to short into. For the sake of this, since you specifically asked how I short it, let's talk about it. All right, this is getting weaker and weaker, right? So mega wick bought back up. Dump bought back up. This time what's happening? Is it getting bought back up? No, it's consolidating here. It's taking a lot longer to come back up. So what I would assume is one of two things are going to happen here. One of two things. Either maker is going to do this, right, and really just not even get anything and eventually break down, right? In this case, like I've had a hard time shorting this, but what I would do is kind of the MATIC technique is like, okay, we're going to pull up the H4 trend and say, look, this probably is capping price. This is a breakout, and if you mentally need to do this, right, you could look at it like a breakout, and you'd say, well, where is my target? Well, this is the next target, right? If we're breaking out above the daily 100, the next target is going to be the daily 200. How are we going to get into this trade if it just blasts off without us? You're going to be looking for a tiny pullback, and that tiny pullback, you're looking for some confluence. Either it just like holds here, right? Makes a very small micro comp, maybe on the 10-minute, 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart, something like that. And you get confluence by a low time frame EMA. And that low time frame EMA may be the 15-minute, maybe the 1 hour, right? And you're looking to ride the confluence of a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a comp, and the low time frame EMA. That's going to carry you. That's your target. Your invalidation is going to be obviously closing back above this line, right? That's the way I would play that. Now, what's the other way? Okay. 1 second. Oops. Let's get rid of all this. The other way. If it bounces, we're just looking for another lower high. Simple. Right? Simple. Your invalidation is just simply going to be taking out this high. And you're going to be willing to accept, you know, it going as high. You actually want it to go as high as possible because you're thinking it's going to break down eventually. Now, if my base case is correct, right, and we do get a squeeze, one thing that we need to worry about or think about, or at least be cognizant of, make a lower high, you know, have that sort of breakdown, come in here, right, fake out. Now we have a breaker, we pull back into the breaker, we sweep some of these highs, right? That's something we need to think about as well. And probably this rally right here gets capped, something like this, right? But that's something we can think about that could occur in a Bitcoin relief rally kind of scenario, that kind of what I laid out, that, you know, it'll have maybe a lower high bounce, get rejected, and then go to lower lows. This is something that could play out on Maker as well. So I just gave you a bunch of options. I can't predict the future. I don't know which way it's going to play out. I agree with you, though. This is probably top. The narrative is over. Whenever you see grindy price action like this start to level off and break down, you know it's over. You're just simply looking for lower highs to short into lower lows. The next lower low, obviously, is going to be like right here, right? So put it on the daily so it's a little bit easier to see, right? Once you lose this level, 980 on the daily, something like that, the next level is going to be 880, right? 880. Here's your demand. There's your daily 100, and then it's just going to keep bleeding out, right? Step by step. Lower highs, lower lows. Maybe it forms a comp at some point, right? And then you're looking for the same kind of idea, how to short the breakdown. Okay. Ocean, I think this is just a range. I quickly looked at it at the top of the video. Yeah, just a range. Play it as a range. There's really nothing much else to say. If you just came to this video just to listen to Ocean, because the video is getting a little long now, so I don't want to go into too much detail. Use some of the properties I talked about in literally every other coin in this video to cover this one. But basically, yeah, basically, this is a complete range-bound coin, and you're going to play it like a range. We have no alpha, no edge with the daily 100. We have no alpha, no edge with the H4 or the dailies because it's been ranging so long. These things have completely compressed into a halt. So with that, it's not a trend, it's a range. And we're off the lows, right? We want to defend the lows. We want to look for market structure plays off these lows, and we want to look to try to trade it towards the highs. We do have triple like untapped liquidity highs, right? So could this get run? Yeah, absolutely. They could absolutely get run. Boom. Okay. That's really all I need to say about Ocean, because it's completely range bound. Everything that I just talked about on Maker for a range breakdown, just go back to Maker. Go back one thing and take those kind of principles and say that's how I would play a range breakdown. A breakout to the upside may be short-term capped right here. This is a significant point. That's a range, point of breakdown. That's also going to be just a bird's eye view, probably your mid-range, and point of breakdown. Tough place to overcome. Look for this rally to be capped back down to the lows. If you hold this, that creates a double bottom, higher chances that you could revisit the highs. OP. OP is something I talked about all week, was waiting for the lower high to form and the lower low to form, right? So let's just quickly highlight what I was looking at. There's your SR, right? It's support, resistance. I'm not drawing it perfectly, but you get my drift. Support and resistance, right? I'm looking for a break of OP underneath 152 and looking to short a pullback back above. That's exactly what I did. I got in on this pullback. I'm short from 152. My target number 1 was 146. Target number 2, 140. In the case, since we're here and since this is a trade, I'll actually talk about it in lower time frames. In the case that it does something like this, takes out this low and bounces as drawn, maybe it takes out this liquidity. I'm looking to once again short this as a lower high in reference, right? Lower high into the lower low. This would be a second trade for me, right, on OP. I hope that's pretty simple to understand. One thing to note is, again, how strongly these things come into play. The daily 100, 200, the H4 100, 200. You can see how it's confluent at that exact 152 level. You can see how these capped the upside, right? Capped upside forever. This was kind of a narrative-fueled rally. And that narrative just kind of carried over. That's why you got such a strong bounce off the edges, like Base and Friend Tech and all that stuff. That's why Coinbase has been, or not Coinbase, OP has been strong. But nonetheless, this is a range, and it should be treated as such. Eventually, OP will trade 105 again. That's just something to be aware of. Don't be blinded thinking that this relative strength means that it probably won't come back down to $1. It will. This is bullish market structure, right? On the weekly, this is your bullish weekly market structure. This is a break-in structure. This is a lower high being formed. You're looking for a lower low, lower high, lower low. Gonna eventually come back down to range lows. This is range high. This is range low. We're looking to, if you're bullish, buy this range low and potentially even the scarier thought, buy all the way down here, right? This is where the wick came into. That wick is now an inefficiency in the market. Just like you remember, if you don't remember and you skipped ahead, the LDO chart, it's kind of the same thing, right? This is the area that a lot of people were eyeing. Here's your first bounce, right? That might be your second bounce. That might be your third bounce, right? It could do something like that if it has the volatility to do so, but I wouldn't assume so. I would think this, and I would think lower high, and probably a range and something like this. Again, waiting for the daily 100, 200 to be flipped. I've talked about this many times in many coins already, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Pendle. Interesting. Down only, big move up today. Number one thing to talk about is the point of breakdown. This is going to be very hard to overcome on the first rebound rally. Expect this to fail. Expect this to fail. That's what I need to say here. Oh, and look at this, the H4 100 200 capping price right here. That might be the end of it. This wick and this price might be the end of it. If you're somehow lucky to get price to go back into this point of breakdown, expect that to cap it, range low, range high, back to range low. I'm pretty confident that is what is going to occur if you're able to make it there. More likely though, this is going to continue capping you, right? The H4 100 is going to continue capping you. You're going to have to come back down here. These moving indicators move down. Eventually you get above them. That's how you get to range high. You guys will see a theme here of how I'm saying the exact same thing for every coin. That's my system. That's what serves me well. That's what keeps me profitable. That's what keeps me sane. That's what keeps me from thinking about too many things. I just stick to the system. It's what prints for me. It's what works for me. I don't argue with it. PEPE. We have PEPE FUD this week. What did I do? I bought the lows. It's a range low, right? What do we say? We buy the range low. If the range low gives out and we start trading below here, I'm cutting the position. I'm not holding this to fill this gap. Where am I going to buy it again? Is if it starts doing this. You start showing me a range, I'll submit to the range. I'll say, okay, that's where you want to form a range. I'll buy the range, right? Do I take some drawdown? Yes, but I'm not going to be the guy that just holds something like this, right? I don't want to be that guy. Right now, no alarm for me, just sitting at range low. This is a level that everyone wanted to buy last week. Everyone's saying I'm going to buy it $8 or whatever it is, 8 last week. The reason that they didn't was because of a FUD event. FUD events, you know, really shake people out from buying the levels that they wanted to buy. They may regret it. They may not. But anyways, yes, PEPE is in a range. This is what I've been talking about the entire video. You have these parabolic moves. They sell off. You form a range. You form a range. Eventually, you're going to flip the daily 100, 200. Once that happens, you're ready to range breakout. Look where the daily 100 formed right here, right? The daily 200 is going to form after 200 days, right? Both of these things are going to continue capping price. Eventually, you'll get above it. That's your opportunity. When you flip it, that's your opportunity to go out. I've talked about the 100 flip on AKT, and I've talked about it on Coin. Go back and watch those 2 segments to understand what I mean by this. I've talked about this the whole video, basically. Why do I keep repeating it? Because every chart is the same. They all have bubbles. All the bubbles pop. They all form accumulation ranges. They all have these same principles. That's what I'm looking to convey in this video. Okay, we're going to move on from that. There's nothing else to talk about. Here's another range, right? Parabolic, move down, range, we broke down. If I'm an RNDT bull right now, I'm waiting. I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this unless, like I said on PEPE, it does so much of this that I'm like, okay, I submit. It's not going any lower, right? Or where I'm going to submit is higher. You reclaim the range, right? I'll buy it. Reclaim the range. I'll buy it. My invalidation being closes back below it. That's going to be my target, right? This daily 100 is going to be my target, confluent with this point of breakdown, right? So you've got price action, you've got MA, right? You've got a nice gap from 25 to 28. It's good amount of money to make on that rally. It does have some kind of catalyst coming up for it. I'm not aware of what that catalyst is, but if we're looking at this as a range deviation, there's your range low, there's a deviation of the low. It is very possible, especially with a narrative, to definitely make it to range highs. From low to high, you're looking at a 50% rally, something in that ballpark. Maybe 40%, whatever it may be, right? Maybe it even does something like this. Maybe it even deviates that, right? So with a catalyst, things can definitely break the laws of TA or whatever, right? Because if there's nothing going for the coin, there's no reason for it to break these things. Everyone's going to sell into the things. But if there's some demand and some reason for it to break those things, because people are ravenously buying and things are really strong, then they'll just be a minor nuisance. They'll be like a couple day nuisance, right? That's all I gotta say. RLB, incredibly strong, man. I'm a little regretting. I sold up here. I didn't buy this, man. Like I just kept putting it off day by day. I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. And lo and behold, the day that I look at it and I say, hey, it looks good, is the day it pops off. Anyways, that's just a personal tidbit. But it looks fantastic, man. It looks fantastic. It's holding the daily trends. The only, kind of cope thing that I'm kind of hoping that happens is it did this before, right? It ranged, it popped, and it sold right back off into it before continuing. If there's any hope for me to get into that really good fill once again, maybe it pulls back. In that case, I'm going to be buying whatever this is, 15 to 16 cents to reaccumulate everything that I sold right here, because it looks fantastic. And I'll be trading this actively now instead of just holding this as a blind investor. But it looks pretty fantastic. Yeah. That's my only thing. That's really my only thing that I need to say from this perspective. Actually, we can say one more thing. This low, right, this high right here was your lower high, right? So we had bullish market structure for quite some time. It's when you get above, right, and we'll say it right here too, right? So we'll use an example. This is your kind of complacency shoulder high. This is the high that broke structure. So getting above this high is going to be difficult. You see how difficult it was here. Once again, that's synonymous with this lower high, right? So, excuse me, that's synonymous with this lower high. So we're coming up on that right now. I would expect, just like before here, this could offer some resistance. That's the pullback, right? All of this was demand. That's your throwback. That's your pullback into 15, 16 if you're lucky. And then possibly we could go higher. If you get rejected once again right here and come back down, then we're looking at this as a range. That's your range high. That's your range low. We're probably going to visit 11 cents or 12 cents. So those are my two ways that I'm playing roll bit right now. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Since I'm late to this and I'm coping, and I'm not going to say my sideline because I do have a good bag of RLB, but I don't have the full bag anymore and I don't want to get left behind. So let's say it just pops straight from here. Now it may be tough to buy the breakout, but I'm going to swallow the pill and buy the breakout. And if it deviates back in, I'm going to cut it and say, well, I'm stupid and I was wrong. That's kind of how I'm thinking about RLB at the moment, because I honestly think that either we're going to say either this high or the complacency shoulder high is my range high. And I'm not looking at these wicks as my range high. I'm looking at these wicks as my deviation of range high. I'm actually looking at like this kind of price action to be my range high. So we're right there right now. I'm looking for a pullback. I'll blindly buy the pullback or I'll buy higher. Render, this is what I was giving the example of on Caspa, right? I was telling you on Caspa that you know, we could do the bouncing ball at the highs. It's the same chart. Go back to Caspa. High went above, deviated the high, demand near the high, found buyers, went back into this supply block, right? Rejected, bounce, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for on Caspa, right? The exact kind of same situation. It's kind of like this lower high bleed and then a pullback all the way down here. Let's pull up the daily chart. Need this. I'm bullish on Render right now because I think it came to a very significant point. I bought spot at 138 and 136. I'm looking to sell the spot on like a lower high, hopefully as close to 170 as possible. I'll accept 160. That's the kind of move I'm looking for. Nice 20% move, 15-20% spot move. I don't really care about too much of the lower time frame action. I am trading it. I did take longs on it today, but at the same time, what I really would like to capture is this move right here and not chop myself up incessantly. So I did go and take the spot route on Render. I would be looking to short up here as well. Let's pull up the daily 100, 200s. Boom. As they're coming down, right, I may look to short this. That goes with my base case on Bitcoin of a relief rally. That would fit the relief rally thesis as well, right? So look to sell into this, right? Defend this. I don't know how long this range is going to last, but I'm going to be playing the extremities of this range. Sell or short above 160, buy or long under 140. RUNE. RUNE. This is another one, right? So H4 trend carried you all the way up. H4 trend is proving resistance on the way down. We have now approached a very significant high time frame level, right? Boom. That's it, right? So this was resistance. This was support. This is the support that took you to the highs. We've retreated all the way down here. I'm doing one of two things, three things. We'll talk about all the scenarios. Pull up, short, right? Shorting back into the H4, looking for the breakdown, right? Breakdown may not come. We don't know. Or deviation, get back inside, clear the H4 trends, look to run this back up, right? Scenario number two. Scenario number three just kind of does that maker action. Look up maker. I don't want to cover this again. Look at maker. You'll see the breakdown play in there, right? The next viable target on the breakdown, clean up all this liquidity, right? All these higher lows, tag the daily 100, right? So this is the gap that you're looking to play on the way down. Naturally, if you cannot get over this H4 trend, that's what's going to happen. It's just going to kind of roll over into this area. Like I said, if you want to know how to do the breakdown play or how I would do it, go look at the maker section. Solana, I'm not going to cover the weekly breaker thing that didn't play out. What I'm going to cover is how I will be bullish on Solana again. I will be bullish on Solana again if it starts closing weeklies above 22.3, 22.3, 22.5, something like that. That's when I'm going to be bullish on Solana. Otherwise, I'm looking at this entire thing as probably a range from here to here, right? More or less, right? That's my mid-range, and I think it'll probably end up bleeding all the way back down to $12. It had the opportunity to really prove something to us here. It had the opportunity, like I said, you know, I talked about this on Coinbase. I talked about this on, I don't even remember how many coins I talked about. Like AKT was a successful version of this. KUJI was an unsuccessful version of this. Coinbase was an to be determined successful version of this, right? Which is the daily 100, 200, right? Being flipped, such a long downtrend, so many rejections, finally flipped it, had the opportunity to hold it as support, was not able to hold it as support, nuked right through it. That's super unfortunate. Had this held it as support, I was looking for back to 33. I was looking at 40. I was looking at all these targets. We didn't get those. If it deviates and gets back above this, they're back in play. Until that happens, I'm looking for lower targets on Solana. I'm not really interested. I haven't been watching this in the past week. I had a lot of bullishness until that weekly close last week. Once that weekly closed like that, I was like, okay, time to move on. No longer a strong coin. Now it's going to be a weak coin. And this was kind of like your prior range low, right? So that's kind of where we're at right now. $19, $20 was your prior range low. That's where we're kind of sitting at right now. I'm not really looking at this on super low time frame. I haven't looked at this on 4 hour, 8 hour, whatever, in some time. I don't really think it's worth mentioning. Like I mentioned, there's so many better coins in here, or not so many, but a few other coins in here that are better trading. This is just another bleeder. If you want to look at a coin that I think could put in a better move off of this triple lows, it's Arbitrum. It's the top of the video. STX, man, how sad. It did unreal parabola in March off of ordinals or whatever, right? Bitcoin NFTs, and did the classic market cycle, right? I covered this market cycle in a couple of videos, right? Parabola. Origin of parabola is all the way down here. Naturally, STX is coming all the way down here. It's coming back to 34. And I don't even remember which coins I covered to explain this point, but it's so many coins. It's the same thing. Parabola, that's like the origin. We probably have like some kind of demand. Parabola, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Eventually, you have to come back into here. Eventually, you make a reaccumulation range, right? And then that reaccumulation range can go again. So, you know, looking at STX, it basically already did that, right? You have your demand, you have your parabola, right? You crashed all the way down. You made an accumulation range. You put in your echo bubble. You crashed all the way down, right? So pretty sure STX is going to come all the way back down to 30. Why? Because this is, again, a narrative or catalyst-fueled rally. This is not rational buying daily. I need to buy. This is going to go up every day. This is irrational and distribution. Everyone's distributing. Everyone's selling. It's probably going to come back down to the last place where it found legitimate support, and that was 20 cents, 30 cents, whatever. So that's what I'm expecting from STX. SUI looks like shit. I've been trading this. I actually shorted it this morning, right? Now this isn't the SUI chart, but it'll do just fine. Yeah, so that, you know, if we get, this is what I shorted this morning, is a lower high, right? Because this is a pretty much demand block, and I was looking for a move into this demand block to get short. That's exactly what we got, and that's what we're kind of getting, this like downside continuation right now. I'm expecting, and I may take a short on this again, but I'm expecting 51. That was my original target for the short. I just I closed it for some gains around like 4 hours ago, just because I'm kind of on vacation mode now. I closed kind of all the positions except for the super high confidence ones. But yeah, I think this is just like, you know, what some people would call a bear flag, right? There's your leg, there's your bear flag, and that's your next leg. That's what I think is coming on SUI. High time frame, this is just a bleeder. It continues and continues to get hammered by the H4 100 200. It cannot get above it. It did it once again. If you guys know who Hisaka is, Hisaka pumped this coin as much as he could, and again, it just failed that range reclaim, and it's just probably going to bleed back down. The other thing it could do is form a range right here, which I talked about in many coins, right? It could form this, but it just looks like a bleeder. I'm not interested in this for longs until it reclaims the daily, or excuse me, the H4 100 200, which may take some time because you know, this week was an opportunity for it to do something. It had a little bit of relative strength. It had some, you know, it had the ability to reclaim the range. It did not do that. So c'est la vie. I don't even know what c'est la vie means. I sound really dumb. I've been talking for quite some time now, guys. My voice is starting to hurt. Tau. Boom. That's your range. Right? This is whatever the listing is. Team is selling, someone is selling, it's bleeding off. This is the first time you find a buyer. This is the first time you find buyers. This is the first time, you know, proper price action starts to form. There's your first demand. There's your first high. Here's your consolidation. Here's trying to expand. Failure to do so. Deviation over the highs. Get back inside. Reject the top side. Reject the top side. Naturally speaking, 42 is probably where this ends up. You can definitely take many trades in the meantime. The way that this is so wicky, it doesn't look like it's a perp chart. It looks like it's spot only. If it's spot only, you're going long only. If you're going long only, you want to buy it at support. The only support level here is going to be this demand, right, where you could see a bounce. You could see a bounce here from 49.50 back into this area, kind of like what I'm looking at on render. Look, use render from this video as an example. Use LDO from this video as an example. This could happen right here, right, like this, and then eventually get down to this low, right? So you could play this for a bounce, or you could just be patient and buy the range lows. And lastly, UNIBOT. UNIBOT. Okay, last one. I'm trying to personally buy UNIBOT down here, and I don't, this is, all these wicks and charts are different. I'm using TradingView. I'll pull this up. Yeah, so I'm trying to buy UNIBOT in green. I'm trying to catch a wick in green. But I will be happy buying $190. Now, the only thing that's wrong with this is it's a kind of a crowded idea. A lot of people want to buy $100. A lot of people want to buy $90. One or two things can happen. It can either do this and come down later, or it could just completely front run this and run back to the highs. Something you need to be cognizant of. One thing that's important is that the trend that carried us all the way from like $20, from $10, from $20, all the way up to the highs, finally was lost, right? So I think this is going to be kind of tough to overcome for some time, and I think you need to form a little bit of an accumulation down here before we're ready to go back to the highs. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for on UNIBOT. Is the same thing, right? Parabolic high, deviate the highs. We've covered this setup 10 times on 10 different coins in this video, and this is where I sold, and I'm looking to buy range lows. It's that simple. Sell the deviation of the highs, buy the range lows, be patient, wait for these high time frame EMAs to get flipped once again, right? Once you flip these, you're ready to go once again. It's as simple as that. If that doesn't happen, you're in chop. You're just gonna chop. There's nothing's really gonna happen. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's UNIBOT, and I think that is the video. I think that's it. I think we've covered everything. That was a long one. That was exhausting. If you stuck with me through the entire, I'm going to assume this is well over an hour. You're a legend. I love you. Leave me a comment. Let me know who you are. And I hope you guys learned something. And the way that I went over a lot of these coins and a lot of these examples, I think this is a video that I'll refer a lot of people to in the future, just from an educational standpoint, because I covered so many things from my system in this video, and the fact that I repeated it 100 times might help some people, you know, really internalize some of the things that I use in here. And that's really it. I have nothing more else to say. Come hang out in the clinic. Follow me on Twitter if you don't already. All those links will be in the description box below. If you want the trend indicators that I use in this video, the clinic trend indicators, there's a channel in the clinic that tells you how you can get them. That's going to do it for me. Love you guys. Leave me some comments below. Share this video with your friends. I'll see you in the next one.